congratulations. Like, who were you in this movie?
Congratulations to you. You started this website. Look at you.
Hey, I'm trying. It was such a different side of you. It was wonderful to see.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I mean, it was wonderful.
I appreciate it.
You were the friend that everyone needs.
I just said what Mike Binder wrote. That's all I did in this movie. I stopped on a piece of tape and I just said what Mike wrote.
But you are such, I mean, we all know you and love you as a comedian. And to see this side of you was really fun. And not only that, but you were the friend that everyone needs in life and that a lot of us don't have.
Oh, is that
I
right?
mean, let's be real.
I like to think I have good friends. I feel sad for you now.
No, I have good friends.
On, you need a Rick Reynolds in your life. You don't have a drinking problem, so you're all right.
Right, I don't have a drinking problem. But it's tough to be that friend.
To be that friend?
To be that
somebody's
friend.
Boozing it up?
To be that friend that's gotta kind of have the
hard
ass.
It's an adult, so you can't like send them to their room, so you kind of have to just stand back and wait for them to do the inevitable faceplant that you hope will wake them up to not slowly killing themselves.
The destruction.
The destruction, yes.
So you said downstairs that that you didn't have to audition for this.
No, I didn't.
Nice.
That's how I ended up in the movie.
How does that work?
I don't know. I wish it worked that way a lot more.
Yeah, right?
You'd see me in a lot more movies. I was doing the Conan O'Brien show. I was doing panel on it, and Mike Binder had a friend who happened to be watching that night. And I said something that Mike's friend liked. So he said, Mike, you got to check this guy out. He said, X, Y, and Z. It's really funny. And Mike watched it and was just like, yeah, that guy right there, that guy's Rick Reynolds. He could play that part. And then he called up Kevin. He said, hey, mind if I give this Rick Reynolds to him? And Kevin looked and he said, hey, give it to him. That's the way Binder tells it. And next thing you know, I'm on set, just going through the script, trying to figure out what I have to know. And here I sit.
And you guys became quite the family. I mean, it was so evident downstairs in the press conference, just watching you all kind of talk to each other while it was going on and seeing everybody laugh. It was like a really big family. We
had a great time. We all had an awesome time, and it was just you're in New Orleans. It's a low budget thing. Yeah, you just immediately feel like you're on a team. So. And then we all, of course, fell in love with Jillian. She was just the best. You know the days when she wasn't working, she'd show up on set and she'd come up and she'd like draw you a picture. Oh. And you know what kills me? She drew me this great picture, and I set it down to go do, my scene. And then when they had it and they wrapped up, I came over. Somebody took it. And I still think about that. It bugs me.
Oh.
And she was just like, "It's all right. I'll draw you another one."
She's special. Like, she's just like, I just sat and talked to her, and she's just a special little girl for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And understands the bigger picture. That's one of the things that I loved about this movie. I'm all about movies that have big messages and start conversations, and this starts a really important conversation.
Yeah.
How was that in the back of your head when you're on set of that, or is it just you're just making this movie?
No, the back of my head is know your lines so you don't get fired.
I like that.
That is always in the back of my head, and it's just, from just the way my brain works, like, being in a movie, like, that's the most I've ever been in a movie. To actually sit there and look at the whole thing is overwhelming to me. So what I kind of learned to do was just go scene to scene to scene. I was just like, okay, and then breaking the scene into that. Like, we're just doing this right here. And the camera's here, and we're doing this, and I was able to just incrementally move my way through the process and was able to relax and actually really enjoy it because I did have a lot of lines, and I was working with people who won Oscars, and but I just kind of kept it small.
Yeah.
I just kept it really small, so I was not thinking about the message or anything like that. I was more thinking about what was funny was it was written so well, like I wanted to win the trial, and it would actually for real be bugging me when Anthony Mackie's character was making these great points when he was killing it. What's M. Poe's character's name? I can't even remember. But when he was asking him, "You ever seen him drunk or anything?" Yeah. So there's a scene in the movie where you'll see Anthony's destroying one of my witnesses. And you'll see me, I'm writing on a legal pad, and I was doing that for the judge, so the judge would think that I actually had something to refute what he was saying, and I didn't. And I was thinking, like, that's what I would do in a trial. I wouldn't be doing you know, because there's a tendency when you're acting,
Yeah.
to like act the end of the scene basically. So it's like, you know, he's destroying my witness, and then like the actory thing to do is to be like doing that shit. But if it was really a trial, you wouldn't be. You'd be sitting there like, yeah, I got, like in your head, you're going, oh my God, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose this. But you wouldn't want to betray that because you want to win. So me and Anthony kind of had like a couple things that didn't make it in there. She called us to her office one point. When we used to be in the movie where we got a little out of control in there, but we were, you know, he's a very competitive guy too. So it was a lot of fun. And going back to the performance thing, a lot of the stuff that I did was Anthony. He was prowling the courtroom, and I was thinking like, all right, so that's how he's gonna try to get his win. And it's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be really still. So I'm gonna exude confidence and stillness. Like I don't need to be doing all of this, okay? Because we're right. So that's what I did, which is why when I first was talking to Kevin as a witness, I just leaned up against the table, and I didn't do any of that walking around stuff, which and I'm glad that Anthony did it because I wouldn't be able to do it as well as he did, because the guy's a monster, man.
He does have quite a strut.
He is and he's, since working with him, because I do a lot of stand-up and watch a lot of sports, is I've watched a bunch of stuff that he's done, and that guy's he's on to even bigger stuff. You know, I'll get to say I worked with him all the time.
He's amazing. I've loved watching. I mean, God, he's the superhero. Then he's the lawyer, and he owns everything he does in such a way that's just great, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he was a ton of. He's very, very funny and charismatic guy. He's a great guy to have on, and he came in right at the right time, because most of his scenes, if he's not in the office, he's
right
in the courtroom. So he, you know, we kind of all bonded, and all of a sudden he came in, and it was just this new energy that you kind of needed, and it was perfect too, because I mean that is the movie, the courtroom. So I don't know who decided to get him, but that was a great get.
And watching you because most of your scenes are either with Anthony or Kevin, and you're with these two amazing actors who you can tell that you guys had a great friendship as well, because everybody worked off each other in such a way that nobody outshined or any, you know, there was a lot of just love, and you could see it. I mean, the three of you down there in the press conference, everybody's texting back and forth, like you guys were like three little kids. It was great.
Kevin has gotten us, like, he hunts a lot, so he was showing us bears and alligators and stuff. And I actually, the last day of the shoot when we wrapped, I went bow fishing with Kevin.
Nice.
And I'd never done it before, and next thing you know, I'm out in the bayou with him and a couple other people, and these guys were sitting there with their flashlights looking for fish. And they'd be like, right there, and you'd have to aim like, you know, discovered I'm a lefty.
There you go.
Shooting a bow and arrow.
Learning all kinds of new things on this movie. Yeah. And you were the one that had to see Kevin in his pajamas the most as well. It's like every scene you had to have the tough conversation with him. He was in his pajamas. I couldn't stop thinking about that.
Well,
I don't know why that stuck with me.
I lucked out because it was unbelievably humid and hot down there. In all of my scenes, if you watch the movie, I was either inside or sitting in a car, and I would crank the AC, and they'd go, and action, and I'd shut it off, and I'd just be like, blah, 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 cut, turn it back on, crank it, oh yeah.
So you guys had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did. We definitely had a lot of fun. I only had one scene that was really outside that didn't make it into the movie, and I was walking down the street with Kevin, and I had a box of donuts, all this sugar, and it was attracting these flies, like the size of my head, and I just remember I had to literally walk around with the donuts, like set them down, run away from the donuts, and then he'd be like, all right, we're getting ready, and I would run up, grab the donuts, run away from all these, I don't know, it was the sugar or whatever, and then we'd start walking down the street, and we'd get like 3/4 of the way through the scene, and these goddamn flies would start coming back. Yeah, it was hilarious, and it was funny. We did it at dusk, and it was still like, it felt like it was 100% humidity and like 98 degrees out. I mean, it was brutal.
That is brutal.
So I lucked out.
Yeah, that's great.
Easy, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me. This was such a great movie.
Sitting and chatting. It was great.
It was great to meet you.
Thank you. What's the name of your website again?
The Movie Chick.
The Movie Chick. Very nice.
Thanks.
Look at you moving up in the world.